Also felt like an emotional failure. So I had these two massive
Mhm.
traumas stacked on top of each other, and I spiraled downhill super quickly.
Move mountains. Hi everyone, Elle Ballard is here today and with my guest all the way from UK, Ruth Allan. Welcome. I think it will be interesting conversation and so needed for today. Let me introduce you really quickly. And by the way, you are on the Empowered Global Women in Business podcast, where we interview women from all over the world building businesses from different parts of the world. So Dr. Ruth Allan is a certified brain health professional and trainer, havening practitioner, and high performance coach. She's a founder of the Well-Being Warrior Academy, and she's focused on helping families become warriors for their own health and well-being. She has been recognized by the Brains Magazine 2022 CREA Global Awards for her contribution to mental health. She's based in the UK, married to Dave. She's a mom to Lily, and she's a keen mountaineer and skier. Welcome. Welcome,
Thank
Ruth.
you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. So
Yes, 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 yes. Very exciting. So the first thing I want to dive right into your work and why you chose this area around brain health and how maybe your past experience led you to do this work.
that's a great question. So I started I was a manager in a senior firm that's one of the big four in the UK, a consulting firm, and I thought was on track for promotion. I'd been working my heart out for the whole year, trying really hard, winning lots of money as part of the work that I was doing. During that year, I also wanted to start a family. So I got pregnant, which was super exciting. And just as the year came to an end, I had an unexpected miscarriage, which for those who've had that experience is incredibly traumatic, whatever stage
Yeah.
of the pregnancy you're through. And shortly after that, I was told by the firm I was working for I had no emotional intelligence, which absolutely knocked me for six. And I can talk about this now, but at the time, I was completely mortified because I felt both a biological failure because I'd had a miscarriage, and it's really hard to deal with as a woman.
Yeah.
And I also felt like an emotional failure. So I had these two massive
Mhm.
traumas stacked on top of each other, and I spiraled downhill super quickly. I started having suicidal thoughts, and my mum's father died by suicide when she was only 6. So this is something's in the family, and I definitely didn't want to be there, and I didn't want to be having those thoughts. So I reached
Yeah.
out for high performance coaching as a client and
Mhm.
went on a transformational journey and realized it wasn't me that was the issue. It was the toxic environment I was working in. I was chronically stressed. It was an incredibly unpleasant place to work. And as part of that coaching journey that I went through, I discovered brain health and learned about Dr. Daniel Amen and the work he does in the USA. And that joined the dots between the experience I have as a PhD of medical imaging and excuse me, medical imaging and spectroscopy, and my desire to help people harness their potential. So I pulled the eject cord as from the firm because it was just not serving me at all. And I retrained as a high performance coach and then subsequently as a brain health professional and trainer. And then in that following year, I ended up losing 27 pounds in weight, set myself a target to become the fittest I've ever been. And just as I hit my target weight, which was 60 kilograms, about 130 pounds, I fell pregnant. And 9 months later, our daughter Lily was born. So
Oh.
yeah, so that was the start of my journey to founding the Wellbeing Warrior Academy and
Mhm.
really realizing that we can take back control of our well-being, and make sure that we take charge of it as the boss, because
Yeah.
we're very good as business women in looking after others, and we can put so much of our attention outwards that we don't spend the time putting our attention inwards and reflecting on our inner well-being, and making sure that we harness our inner power and don't let people steal it from you.
Yeah.
So that's my sort of start of my journey.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that journey.
You're welcome.
And yeah, and it's so interesting to hear the stories and how, you know, the story of evolution, like your personal story, and how we come to do, how we you know, stories that awake this passion for us to do something because we've done that to help others, right? And so with in your work with your clients, how do you help your clients with issues, or what issues you help with?
Yeah, so I as part of my journey of discovery, I realized that the firm that I was working for were not looking at the facts, and that was out of that was born the 5 pillars of brain health. So for my clients, we focus on the facts about how they are performing cognitively, and then in an overall perspective, and looking at how we can elevate that performance. And so FACT stands for, it's a mnemonic, so it stands for feelings, our actions, our connections, our thoughts, and our surroundings. And they all perform a dance with each other. And when we focus on each of those and focus on really connecting deeply with each of those and understanding what our feelings are, what our feelings are telling us to do, what our actions are, and are they serving us? Are we truly connected with ourselves? And how does our internal connection affect our external connections with others and with our wider purpose, etc.? And then what thoughts are we having on a daily basis, and are they serving us? And are our surroundings, our environment, serving us? And how can we optimize all of those pillars, feelings, actions, connections, thoughts, and surroundings, in order to show up as our best self? And that's what we really dive into when I'm looking at helping my clients. And we are, you know, I assess them, all those 5 pillars, and depending on what their assessment is will depend on what area we dive into and what appropriate coaching program is offered based on their metrics that they have.
Beautiful. I love the facts because it covers all the areas, it seems, of our lives, right?
Yeah,
and the how the brain reacts and how where the brain comes through. And I love how you use the word dance, because it is, you know, it's all interconnected. So thank you for sharing that. And we will post information and links for Ruth and how to connect with her podcast recording and in the comments. I want to also talk about, you left corporate world, so you had that experience, and then adding personal experience, and you started building your business. And there are so many lessons, right? Like it's sometimes hard to just take one lesson, right? You know, in this journey of being a woman entrepreneur, being a ladypreneur, building a business. But also, we don't do only that. We build our lives, we build build families, we help build families, we support families, partners. And what is maybe one big lesson that comes to mind that you could share with our audience that you learned in building a business?
I think I learned to be myself.
Yeah.
So I learned to trust in what I felt was right, to listen to my inner instinct. And it was a really difficult journey, because the initial discussion that I had that put me on the pivot point and make a U-turn and everything was to be told I had no emotional intelligence. And of course that was a silly statement, because if you know anything about emotional intelligence, you wouldn't say that to anybody anyway. But I think it was trusting in who I was, to believe in me and to be me as part of that journey, and not try to hide who I was, because not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's going to connect with you, but you connect with the people that relate to your story, and who relate to your experiences. So just be you on your journey. Don't try to be somebody you're not. And I think the biggest challenge I had was switching from having a company name and that, you know, to hide behind, to just be out there as me.
Yeah.
and being me. And I think it's so important that we allow ourselves to be ourselves on that
Yes.
journey.
I love that. Thank you for bringing light to that. I love that. I think especially in today's world, with everything happening in the world and the transformation and growth that's happening in the world, I think it's just so important to recognize ourselves for who we are and just
Mhm.
do that because each one of us is just so unique and authentic, and we each one of us brings this beautiful angle to this world. We don't need to be. So that's such a great reminder. But I think it's also challenging, right? Because I have a corporate background as well, when we are
Yeah.
part of the company, we are part of the company, but when we starting building our own brand, we get out there, right? And
Yeah.
so sometimes it can be, questioning ourselves or
Yeah.
because it's me behind my brand now. So I think it's such a great reminder that it is okay. And it is okay if some people do not resonate. It's so normal. It's
Yeah.
almost like it should be this way.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be possible. But yeah. So thank you for that reminder.
That's okay.
Beautiful. I love that. This is the Empowered Global Women in Business podcast, of course. And so we interviewed women from different countries worldwide. And one of the things I like to ask is, what does it mean for you to be a woman of the world building a business?
So I think I think for me to be a woman of the world is to understand the power of connection with other people within the world and the power we possess as women. When we
Yeah.
look at our evolutionary development of our brains, we are designed to connect with each other. We are totally designed to connect with each other. And I think we need to leverage our uniqueness as women to empower other women and to empower other people to get to that next level by being women,
Yeah.
and not, it fine if you want to work in a male environment. And I know this is very topical discussion, but we should just be women if
Yeah.
that's how we associate ourselves, and
Yeah.
be that gender definition that we have, or however we decide to be, but just be us and leverage the power the unique power we have of connection, and understanding. And just from a cognitive perspective, women have more connections in their brains than men do from a brain perspective, but we have less neurons, we have less brain cells. So it's vitally important we connect from a brain perspective, and it's vitally important we connect from a women of the world perspective to leverage that power that we have within ourselves.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I love how you added the brain, cells there. And I didn't realize that
No,
difference. So yes, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, so beautiful. I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. As we just raise the vibration of connectedness between each other in the world, we just raise all of us, the rest of the women worldwide, right? So it's beautiful.
exactly.
Yeah. Before we move to the rapid fire questions, I did want to, if you could share with us your website, and I know we'll put the links in the comments, but I'd like for you maybe to say it out loud for those who are listening so they could check it
Mhm.
out, your website and how they can connect with you.
No problem. So just go to my website, ruthmaryallan.com. So that's ALLAN .com. So A for A, so I like to think. And then wellbeingwarrioracademy.com to learn more about the Wellbeing Warrior Academy. Go to either of those sites. You can book a free consultation if you go to the contact page.
Beautiful. Yeah. And thank you for doing the work you're doing today. In today's
Thank
world, I
you.
think it's just so timely, so good. And now we're going to move to the rapid fire questions and let me know if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm
Yay.
ready.
Okay, awesome. Okay, your favorite book name is?
Change Your Brain, Change Your Life.
Haven't
That
read
was
that
the
one.
first book I read that really did do exactly that. And that's by Dr. Daniel Amen. And that put me on the trajectory that I am now on, which is, becoming that brain health profession trainer. And I knew nothing about my brain, by the way. Being a woman of business, we focus, as I said, we focus on, performance in the terms of workplace performance, but nobody ever talks about your brain and how you can get the best out of your engine of life. So that is a great book to read.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. I have Brain Longevity book on my desk that I haven't started yet. So that's to the point about the productivity and how, it's also connected. So yeah, I made a note of that. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Favorite international destination to visit?
Oh gosh, that's a tricky one. I would say European Alps.
Beautiful. Summer or winter?
Winter.
Okay. And the final question is things that you have discovered about yourself recently.
What have I discovered about myself recently? Oh gosh, that's such a great question. I actually noticed today that I am anxious because I I don't normally get anxious. And I was just mentioning this to my husband before I got on the call, that I've started to get a tightness in my chest. And so just before we got on the call, we did 20 seconds of relaxation, didn't we? And one of the things that I do for relaxation is either deep breathing or grounding myself or havening or a combination of all of those. And it's a beautiful way of releasing tension and stress. So we forget in the busyness of the day to decompress. And so it's wonderful that you reminded me to do that before I went on the call. And
Absolutely.
we don't realize this, do we? So
we do
have
not
to pay attention.
We have to pay attention. Yeah, and absolutely, you're welcome. Yeah, it's well, thank you for sharing that.
It's okay.
I had a close similar to that conversation with my husband as well. It's so interesting. How just changing the habits earlier today. So it's interesting how you mentioned that.
Well, I actually got my Apple Watch out and I thought I better check my heart rate and my ECG because my mum's got heart issues. So I thought I'll do a check and it's all fine. So I mentioned it to my husband. He said, you must be stressed. So I'm going to do some more havening this evening. So
sounds good. Awesome. Well, thank you for being here again. Ruth, anything else before we close?
Oh, if anybody resonates with my story, know that there is more inside you and you're stronger than you know, and reach out for help. Don't be afraid. Just get the right coach, can help you rediscover yourself and be you, that true unique you that's inside of you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you.
You're most welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being. And this was Empowered Global Women in Business podcast. Thank you, Ruth. Have a good night.